All right, let's check this out.
依頼じゃない?私を
Oh.
知りたいって?
Oh.
なら物語と交換だよ。
Whoa. Okay, so first off, this is really reminding me of Zenless Zone Zero. In a way, there's a bit of like, I don't want to say like a sexual aspect to it, but there's an interesting dynamic here that I want to talk about. It really reminds me of Jane, the Jane trailer from Zenless. So the shot starts off with the character. It looks like Traveler looking down at the camera. So they're holding like a piece of information. That's what I'm getting from that, right? And it's from their point of view. And then the camera pans up to look at this character. So we're sitting in a room across from it, right? So we're already like kind of uncomfortably close to this character in a way.
依頼じゃない?
And she says, you're not here on business. You want to just to get to know me.
私をもっと知り
Which I find really interesting, right? She's already kind of like got you sussed out because I think you are here on business. And you're trying to get some information from this person. Looks like she's withholding information from you. That's what I got from that first part, right? She's withholding some information from you. And she knows why you're here. She knows you're actually here to get some information from her. There's a couple of things. Number one, she's in a very like powerful sitting position. She's sitting super confidently. Her chest is puffed out. Her back is extremely straight. She's got his leg crossed. She's relaxed, but extremely assertive and authoritative. And she's holding a chess piece. So like in a lot of animations and anime and in this vein, chess pieces often represent, I would say, like control and manipulation, right? So the fact that she is holding a chess piece is intentional. It's intentional. She's probably a big player. She's someone that controls people, probably using information. And can we just talk about her character design for one hot second, okay? One hot second. So if you've watched previous videos, this one's a little different because we're just breaking down a single trailer. If you've watched previous videos, you know that I'm just starting to get into the world of Genshin Impact, right? I'm just starting to get into the world. And I would say that she is from Sumeru, right? Or Sumeru. I don't know how to pronounce it. But as far as I know, we're releasing characters for the Nodcry arc, right? So why are we releasing this Sumerian character in Nodcry? All this stuff is happening in Nodcry, so is she a Sumerian character that is moving to, has moved to Nodcry? What are her motivations? I find that really fascinating. Also, did a bit of research before I started this video. NEFER means beautiful or perfect in Egyptian. I'm not 100% on that. I did a quick Google just to wonder what her name meant, but that's interesting too. She's obviously like heavily inspired by Egyptian themes. And I love the way she says, so you're not here on business. And then she like crosses her legs back and leans back. Like she's entertained by that idea. Like she's like, are you serious? Like you really think you could fool me with that? I'm very entertained to see what your next like BS, like your next bullshit's gonna be. Like, come on, I'm here. I know why you're here.
私をもっと知りたいって?
And she throws the chess piece on the ground. Like, that's really great.
なら物語と交換だよ。
That'll cost you a story of your own. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, that's cool. So we're going through all the Traveler stories. So the first one was, I guess, Mondstadt, and then Liyue, and then Fontaine. Fontaine's story, too obvious. She's not entertained by these. Fraudsters, scammers, same old tricks. Now you get a story in return. Let me go through that guy's head. Whoa, she is so sick. Okay, we're gonna go into this guy's story. So this is very Jane trailer. Whoa, and he gets up. Okay, let's talk about that. That was super. That was crazy. So she uncrosses her legs and she stands up, and she, like I said, she gets uncomfortably close, and she says, and she starts to crawl over the table. And goddamn, holy! I don't play this game, but I think I'm gonna start playing. I don't know why. Just something. You know? She starts to crawl over to the table and the cat jumps into the frame. So now she's uncomfortably close. So animators, filmmakers, whatever, if you want to make someone watching your film or animation, whatever, incredibly uncomfortable, take a shot and do it in first person, like you're sitting in a chair like we're doing right now, and then just make the character crawl towards the camera very slowly and sensually, and get really in your face. Look at how much space is being taken up by, let me move that really quickly. Look how much space is being taken up by 2 characters, right? That is the whole screen. And she's obviously a beautiful character and she talks very seductively, right? That's not unintentional. She obviously uses her beauty as a persuasion technique. We're going to get into what I think she does and whatever soon, but that is absolutely fascinating. I wonder if this cat is like an extension of her, or if it's like, I don't know. I'm not sure about the cat. I do like the cat, and I love that. I love the cat's mascara. He's pretty glammed out, or she. We don't know yet. Anyway, Nefer says that'll cost you a story of your own. So, what I think is really cool is then we then go through some trailers. We see Jean, Paimon, and Diluc. I know who these characters are now. I did a little bit of research after the character demos. Dealing with the dragon from one of the first arcs, right? Then one of the cool things is from stage left, Nefer comes across, right? And you get another pan up shot. So you're always looking at her from like kind of an uncomfortable angle. She's always looking at you from a position like of power. She's always like looking down at you, or you always feel like you're restrained or like in an uncomfortable position when you're around her. So I think that's awesome. I love when they do that with characters. I am going to say this again, it's really reminding me of the Jane trailer demo. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. I'll do another reaction to it eventually. And then we get a shot of Arataki Ito singing. I've never seen this scene. I don't know what this is. I know they're Liyue characters, so I'm guessing this is like the Liyue arc. My goat Arataki Ito, I want to know more about him as well. And he's singing, and then she kind of separates them, comes in, flicks her hair, and she says, "Interesting. Next." So I think that to her, this stories are maybe acceptable. She's sort of like okay with this information, but she needs a little bit more, right? I didn't even notice Paimon has the cat in her hand. That's so fun. One thing I love about Genshin Impact characters is how flowy they are, right? Every single character has lots of what we're gonna call secondary movement on them. So for example, when Ito turns his head, we get a ton of other movement. We have his belt like sort of flowing. We have his hair flowing. And I'm sure if you were to see him from the front, all other pieces on his clothing, including his robe, are going to be moving as well. That isn't really animated on its own. We've also got this piece here. That's probably the best example. When you're animating a character, you're not doing that like each individual piece. You're not like, oh, I've animated the body. Now I have to animate all the clothes. You don't have to do that. You'd only really do that in like a hero scene. If like a hero had a cape fluttering in the wind in a really specific way, then you could animate it like that. Sometimes people do it, but it's very rare. These are all done automatically based on the movements of the bodies. What people are actually doing is they're adding bones, and maybe we'll talk about bones in a future video, but they're called bones. They'll add a bone chain here all the way to the bottom, and then these bones are actually attached to the rig of the character, and we'll talk about rigs as well, but it's basically the skeleton that animates the character. As the body moves, these chains sort of like kind of just like flap. I can't get the angle right. They sort of just like flap naturally with the body, right? Now you can mess with the values of those. You can mess with the dampening, you can mess with like the spring value and all that stuff, so it can like, you can make it move a little more, or you can make it move a little less, or make it less springy or whatever. But in general, you don't really have to touch that once you have those numbers dialed in. So that's why Genshin Impact characters look so flowy. Anyway, she then walks off screen and she says, "Interesting, next." And then Ito looks back like, "What?" Like either in like a startled, like, "Who are you?" kind of look, or he's upset that wasn't very interesting. Like she's not impressed by his singing. Like the way what makes me feel like he's startled that like she popped into here, almost like she doesn't belong here, which is kind of interesting. Oh, is she like delving into like the past or something? Anyway, it's just the way his body language is that kind of is like tipping me off a little bit here. When he sees her, right? He's got his arm up in the air. He sees her and he brings his arm into his chest, and that's what people do when they're startled, right? If you're scared, you go like this. People don't jump out and go like, if you get jump scared, right? You're not gonna go, "Ah!" That doesn't happen in real life. When you get jump scared, you go like this. You tighten up. So he was spooked, right? And also your back hunches over, and if you look at his back is now a little bit arched. So he's kind of like, your body, you instinctively protect yourself, and that's what I love about animation, man. Like that's such a subtle thing. If that's what's happening, that's such a subtle thing that happens. Anyway, she walks off screen. He's like, whatever. He like kind of like does his hair, and then the cat goes off to follow them off screen. That's really fun. I gotta say, this character's awesome. We are 25 seconds into this demo, and I'm telling you, man, this demo is absolute hype. And then I don't want to drill it home too much. Then we're in what was this place called? Fontaine. And I guess this arc starts with the magic show probably, or there's a magic show somewhere in there. I saw these two in the character demos. So I guess we talk about this and the Fontaine, and obviously it looks like there's an accident in this magic thing. And she says too obvious, so she's not impressed by it, which I love. And then when she walks away, there's this mask, which is obviously an intentional clue that's left there. I have no clue what this is, so I will leave that. I won't comment on it too much. But if you've watched this trailer and you missed that, take note of that mask. That could be very interesting if you know more about this game than I do. Anyway, we pan down to a bunch of merchants. I don't really know what this scene is representing, but I love how it's from the perspective of her, and we're still looking down on characters, right? Still looking down on this guy. She's calling them fraudsters, scammers. These look way like leeway merchants. I don't really know the story behind this. Same old tricks. Maybe there's some weird thing going on in leeway that I'm not aware of. Same old tricks. So overall, she wasn't too impressed with that. So I was surprised when she started revealing the story, because I was like, oh, you didn't really think those were super informative, but whatever. Anyway, so we get to this scene here. It looks like we're in, I would just say from the shots I've seen, I would guess Nod Cry. I know they have like Baltic inspirations, but I've also just seen like they use a lot of this like metallic paneling in Nod Cry. Everything's kind of like, I wouldn't say steampunky, but kind of like cold. What would I call that? Cold. Oh my God, something just fell behind me. I would call this like, I don't know, like cold punk. I just made that up. That's actually kind of cool. Anyway, so we get to this scene and she says, now you get a story in return. And look how beautiful this character is. This might be in terms of like looks and design wise, this might be the most stunning character I've actually seen in this game. A lot of Genshin Impact characters are very cute. A lot of them do have a mature look, but she's like, this character is like actually stunning. She may even be a new favorite. Anyway, so we get a nice little hair flick. She says you get a story in return, and we go through the back of this guy's head. So we're going to be seeing things from his perspective for a little bit here. We get a hand swipe thing and her hand glows. So, ooh, she's got some magic. One of the cool things you can do, just a little side note, to make things glow like this in 3D, you're actually going to be doing a Fresnel shader. It's spelt Fresnel, Fresnel, if you want to look into it. Basically, this shader just takes the camera, and anything that's off angle from the camera, right, that is not perfectly looking straight at the camera. So this geometry is technically looking pretty close to the camera. This stuff is kind of like going off to the sides. It creates a mask for those pieces of geometry. So what a Fresnel node does is it basically highlights the edges of geometry in relation to the camera. So that's how animators and people that work with shaders and CGI artists create this stuff. It's actually very simple. The math behind it is kind of complex, but like systems nowadays, like in Unity, Unreal Engine, Blender, whatever, you can do it pretty simple. Most of these do have a Fresnel node built in. So all you do is connect like an emissive shader with a Fresnel node. Sorry, I'm getting a little technical here, to this edge, and then that's how you can highlight different parts of the body. It's so cool. And anyway, then we got some like trail VFX. I could talk about how to do that later, and then some like particles that spawn. Just a fun little thing that's in the shot for like 2 seconds. Probably took an artist like an entire day to get set up and going, which is hilarious. Anyway, then we get a big stomp of the heel. Classic, like giving me Zenless Zone Zero vibes. They love the feet. You guys, any Zenless Zone Zero fans here, you guys know what I'm talking about. A little bit of a stomp thing. Any character, any like female character in these games that where HOYOverse really wants to show like she's a dominant character and she has a lot of power over people, they'll always do like low angles and like a stomp of the foot while they're in heels, right? They always do it. And then once again we go back to the character's POV, and then it looks like that's a chess piece. It looks like Anubis. The chess piece drops to the ground from him. Is she behind him to drop the piece? We don't know, but he's suddenly come to, that chess piece fell. He's probably like a pawn, I guess, that she now has control over. He comes out. Is this the place where they were talking in the beginning? Maybe. He's got no clue what's going on. He like looks around. He's like all startled, and then the cat's there. And you get jump scared, right? I love that. The cat's like, "What's up, yo? What's going on? What's good? You want to pet me?" He goes off, and then as he goes off screen, he sees a little bit of a green light. He's like, "Oh, what is this?" The bench is gone in front of him. So this is like, this world is different. This is beyond reality. He's in a dream or whatever. So maybe her powers have something to do with that. I don't actually know. I'm very curious about that. She looks up, and then the door has just closed. Some sort of probably dimension door to get him out of this place, maybe like an eternal dream, whatever. And he starts panicking. He gets up, runs to the door. You get a nice POV shot of the hand grabbing it, turning the handle, and opening it. That is so cool. Anyway, let's continue on here. Oh. Ooh, my god, it's very Alice in Wonderland. Whoa, look at the twisted. Oh, I like that shot. We'll talk about that. Too slow. Okay, so she's playing with him. Oh. Yo. Oh, she's fast. Okay, from door to door. Okay, I like that shot. All right. Okay, wow. All right, so he gets to the door, opens it, and it's like he still has no idea where he is. So he looks around. The first thing he sees is the cat. The cat's like, yo, what's up? Still waiting for that pet, by the way. I don't know the name of the cat. And he looks up, and the eye is looking at him, and she's like huge and distorted. So this world is not real. Maybe it is, and maybe she's like, I don't think she's godlike necessarily. It's just a character trailer, but the idea is here, it's almost like she's looking into like a dollhouse. That's the kind of vibe. Like she's completely playing with this guy, right? For whatever reason. Now we were talking about information in the beginning. I would guess that like, I'm guessing she's an information broker, right? She probably trades information for information, right? That like at the very beginning, they were saying like, if you want to know that, you're going to have to tell me a story. She's not asking that just to be entertained. I think her job is an information broker. And it looks like if she really wants, she has so much information that at any point she can probably financially, politically, emotionally ruin you at any point. So maybe that's what she's done to this character here. Maybe this guy owed her money or owed her information and whatever. And so she can use information to absolutely to rock his world. Anyway, that's what I think that shot is for. The eye animation is really good here as well. You can see there's lots of like shrinking of the eye and whatever. We talked about bones earlier. In animation, like the skeleton, like you'll have like one bone for this part, you'll have a bone for the forearm, and then like one bone, and then one bone here, and then 1, 2, 3 bones. So not that many, right? Like real bones in real life, where your arms are gonna bend. That's where your bone. The face has tons of bones. Like the face is all rigged like everywhere. You've got a bone behind eye. You've got stuff for the eyebrows. You've got stuff for like anything that you're gonna be moving. There's gonna be a bone for it. So the face always has a ton of bones. That's why in some animations, like faces aren't super expressive, but in this scene, for instance. Like, look at all this movement here. There's lots of stuff going on here. So the face was rigged pretty well. Anyway, he looks down for a way out, and then he's suddenly up in the air, right? There's 2 couches again, and he falls down, and there's like doors everywhere. He falls through that one. This is such a cool shot. There's a door, and then there's a door within that door, but that door is slightly turned, but the cat is like standing straight. That is really cool. The cat started to creep me out a bit, and then if you look past it, it almost looks like it's like infinite mirrors, like those door within doors within doors. So this place is trapped. Like you're not getting out. You're not getting out. This seems to be almost like infinity, like a genjutsu kind of thing. And then when the door closes, she like kind of claps her hands closed. Like she's in total control. We got a nice like spotlight on her, so you're like focused on the center of it. I really like this. It's almost like a performance, right? And then he looks away and she pops out again. And we get some nice exaggerated movement here. She kind of like swoops in, right? And it's so creepy. She's always like above you. She's always above you. And I think that's making me really uncomfortable. And I didn't notice this until we slowed it down, but he closes his fist and he goes for a punch. Boom! And she's seen it coming like a mile away. And then we get this like nice Fresnel shader again, like this glow on the outside. That's that Fresnel shader. And her eyes are glowing. And then we get like this whole speed thing. So she's obviously like a crazy speedster. One thing to note, this guy's got like a big scar on his face. So I guess he's like a thug type character as well. So he's obviously like, when you have scars on characters' faces a lot of the time, it's just to quickly signify that they're like no good, right? So maybe he was someone that worked for her and like kind of like betrayed her, or who knows? I don't know. I don't know. And then we get this really fun sequence of her just, you know, being hot. Camera swirls around. We get a nice 360 shot. The door pops out of her hand. The hand is posed great. Look how bent that finger is. So fingers do not bend like that in real life. Fingers don't really bend that much in real life, but it's just a nice way to get this kind of shot, right? Like you want these fingers to, when you do this kind of shot, you want these fingers to be flared out. Like I'm trying to do it here. But if you bend this finger all the way back, right, it looks really cool. And the door slams shut. She jumps out, and we get like a bunch of like really fast like Alice in Wonderland stuff. She's just moving around. Like she's got Sugoi speed. And then we get a nice like jump here where she like shoots out. One cool thing to note here, which I really like this, literally one frame, is whenever a character has something really bright behind them, they're obviously going to be obscured, right? It's just the way camera lenses work. So for that one frame, she's like completely outlined by the blast of her jump, which I really love. And that's why that's a similar technique in impact frames. I don't think they did it on purpose. It's just that this is so bright. The camera, like your camera in this engine in Unity, is just naturally going to darken her. But maybe they did that on purpose too, to like really emphasize that, like, boom. You wouldn't even see that if we didn't go through it frame by frame. So that's why you're on this channel, right? Anyway, he takes a swing at her and she's like jumping over it. And we get this, woo! Damn! All right. I like it. That is so cool. And then we get like a sick landing shot here where we get that like slide back. I wouldn't call that the Akira slide necessarily. It's at a different angle, but I do love this when they do like a nice low angle shot and then the character like slides back. So it's just good combat. So she's obviously combat ready, right? She can fight too. She knows stuff and she can fight. She jumps up in the air and I didn't notice this, but there's like clones too. So that's really cool. So the clone aspect, I didn't even think about. One cool thing about this shot is we talk about composition. I'll just talk about this quickly because you guys want to see the rest of this trailer. But composition is really great here. You've got all of these doors right down here, up here, this one up here. They're all pointing in, right? That's intentional. All this stuff is pointing in towards her. So you can look at her. If your eye were to naturally start on the left side of the screen, which it often does, you'd probably see this. So you'd look up here, you'd be like, oh, cool. And then you'd go here, right? That's composition. Composition is drawing your eye to the spots that people want to draw it. If your eye were to go up here, it's also drawn. It follows this arm and then goes whoop to this main character. You start down here. Even the doors are telling you to go look up here. Look, hello brain, go look there. Anyway, she jumps up. We get like a nice leg trail here. You can see the image that the artist drew. And then they sort of just like, it looks like they just shrink it, which is kind of fun. And then she just shoots down and she's laughing. She's like, oh boy, you're cooked, right? Blasts it out of his hand. Sword goes spinning. Now they didn't blur the sword at all to make it spin. They just have like a circular mesh, right? Like this circular mesh here that they created. It literally just looks like that. They probably just took a PNG of like a couple of lines and stretched it out into a circle. And they just attached it to the sword. So when the sword spins, that spins with it. And then when it lands, they just take it off. It just disappears. So that's the illusion of spinning. And then we get the sword landing there and she walks out the door again in the pumps. Boom! All my ladies, we're here. The queen is here. And she says, hello, you're boned. Anyway, so she's like clearly a very powerful character, whether information is her power or she has some other weird outer worldly power that I don't know about yet. I don't know, but I love how all these characters are waving. Look at this one in the back. He's like, hello, look at, hello. Anyway, let's keep watching. And the music is great too. Hi. So things start to get weirder and weirder, right? He's still trying to get out, but like this reality is breaking even more. Okay, chessboard environment. Oh! Oh! Oh my god. Yo! Oh, this character is fucking hot, bro. Sorry, I'm trying to be professional here, but god dang it! Damn. So he runs out this door and he falls. Like, he falls and she's like waving bye. Door changes green, he falls. And then we get like another really cool shot where she says, this is your quote unquote punishment. So I guess we do know that this guy maybe worked for her or something and he's now being punished, right? At the end of the day, all of these characters, if you look down at her environment, are all just chess pieces on a board, right? Is she the player or is she just an observer of this chessboard? We don't know. Most likely a player because she was holding the chess piece in her hand. Then we get into this really cool chess theme, this really awesome like chess themed, like trippy environment. It's like kind of like a kaleidoscope environment. And the cat's like moving around on chessboards and everything starts to get a little breaky. And then we get this cool infinite mirror shot where she's just absolutely posing her life away right now. That is such an awesome seductive pose, and I'm not even saying that from like a weird creepy point of view. I just think from like a design point of view, that is so cool. That's almost like, I wonder where they got that shot reference from to get that pose. Probably just like a model shoot somewhere. So they take us through this like kaleidoscope chessboard, and this arrow is like like pulling us through this weird world of infinite mirrors where she's just standing there, right? Menacingly. And we finally get to the end and we break out and she's just there all along staring at you. And then we get this symbol, right? This is this triangle thing in the middle. This is called the Penrose triangle. It's technically impossible geometry. If you look at it closely, this is the outside of the triangle and then suddenly it's inside. It's impossible. It doesn't make any sense. It represents, it's very MC Escher. So it would represent like impossibility or paradox. It's like it's beyond reality. It doesn't exist in the worlds of reality. That's just a cool little image they decide to throw in there because of all these, like, I think that's cool because the world that we were being shown earlier, like it seems to be like a world of like not mirrors but paradox. I like that. And then these shots are like very kaleidoscopy. Like all the transitions remind me of kaleidoscopes. Get this shot of the cat walking on the stairs, which does really look like MC Escher. Let me see if I can pull something up. Yeah, I think they're pulling a lot of inspiration from MC Escher's work. You can see like the impossible stairs. This one of the perpetual motion Jolly Man is something I see here. Even like this kaleidoscope. Oops. Even this kaleidoscope. Anyway, we get a few shots and then we get like this James Bond style shot. That's kind of a cool, interesting reference. We're just going through. It's just a character trailer, right? So we're just going through all the cool, like, look how cool this character is. Look how sexy this character is. Yeah, she's so badass. I like it. Maybe this has something to do with something, but they're just flexing, right? They're just flexing and that's great. I love to see it. One thing I will say is I'm very interested in like all the clones. I don't know what's going on with the clones, but I'm sure we're gonna see more. Anyway, let's push on here. She comes to again. Oh my god. Hello? Oh my god. Are we in heaven? Oh, creepy. Okay, a bit of dubstep. Yep, chess pieces on a chessboard. Creepy kitty. Oh. Ooh. That's what you get for lying to me. Yo, whoa, holy shit. Go ahead, cry, make me believe it. Oh my god. Okay, there's a little more at the end here. I see there's a little more at the end, but let's go through that. That was wild. Whoa, okay, hang on. Let me take a second here. I'm getting a little excited. Here. Also, by the way, thank you so much for the love on the last video. We did reacting to all of the version trailers. That was super fun. You guys gave me lots of really great information. Yeah, I'll talk about that more when I do the next video. The next big video, we're going to be reacting to all the character trailers. Ooh, and I think NEFER's the last one in this, right? So I just wanted to react to this one now and get it out of the way because, you know, it's nice and early in the morning. I'm in a good mood. I wanted to try reacting to a single video, and I think I have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, animation wise, lore wise, story wise, storytelling wise. There's a lot of cool themes going on in here that are super cool to talk about. This isn't something I would normally do, but if you guys like this, I will break down individual trailers a lot more. Anyway, so his eyes open up again. This man is like, I feel bad for this guy. He's completely bamboozled. She goes in and she says, "Oh, are you okay? Like, was that a little too much for you? Sorry, did I break you? Are you broken?" So creepy. And then 2 more versions of her pop in, and suddenly I was like, hello, this is about to take a turn for the better. You know, certain artists on Twitter, I know are going crazy right now. I will not say who. So he wakes up, he sees 3 of them, he freaks out, tries to get up and get away, and he looks up and they're in front of him, but he's on a chessboard now. He's a piece, right? He looks up and we get this shot. Yo, this is cool. Again, I'm trying not to be weird about it. I'm trying to look at this from an animation perspective, but these shots are like, I wouldn't say they're intentionally sexual, but they are very, what's the word I'm trying? They're like seductive in a way that like, almost like a siren would use seductibility. Like it's another aspect of how she can control you because she's beautiful, right? She's beautiful. She knows that she can play up her sexuality a little bit. And since it's a man, right? Maybe she can get a little more out of him. Or she's like this with everyone. I don't know. I'm just reaching. We're having fun here. He pans away to try to get away and they're even more behind him. And all of these characters are all individually animated. At this point, there's like a few ways you can animate characters, right? The 2 main ways are keyframes, which I don't think we talked about, and motion capture, which most of you guys know. Those are actors that put on suits, and they've got little dots all over the suits, and then those suits track their movements. And you have nowadays professional motion capture actors who are able to move like anime characters, right? So when you have this many characters that are being animated, sometimes they're all keyframed individually, which is really cool, or sometimes they're all motion captured. It really depends on like time budget they have, the scale, whatever feels right artistically to use. You can get away with a lot of it nowadays with like a really good motion capture artist. One example, if you guys are really curious, this is a great YouTube channel. It's called Sakana Official. They are a motion capture studio that does a lot of the Genshin Impact stuff. They do a lot of Impact or anime style games with motion. And she looks like she's moving a little weird, but when it translates to characters in real life, it looks awesome, right? It's very stylized, it's very over exaggerated. And you would think that when you look at some of those animations that we were looking at, there's no way a person motion captured that, right? But a lot of them nowadays are, because people like her exist, because she is so good. I love the way she even defaults back into like an idle phase. Look, she like resets back and kind of like it's so cool. Like there's so much talent to it. Anyway, he looks back and then suddenly boom, right? Oh, creepy, right? Were these like, oh my god, it's like Silent Hill. This is like very Silent Hill. Are they clones? Are they dummies? Like what are these weird things that are going on? Because these are like different versions of her, right? I like the fact they have no eyes and no face. It's very mannequin-y. That's what it reminds me of, like the Silent Hill mannequins that like when you turn away they move, when you look at them they're perfectly still. Because from this shot they're not moving anymore. Suddenly look, they're full of life, they're all expressive, animated, and then it boom and they're totally still. That's what feels so creepy about this. And the camera keeps moving because it's your perspective, right? So like there's like camera sway and stuff happening. So you're still moving, right? So you're still there, and suddenly in front of you this happens and you're like, whoa. So he probably freaks out. Yeah, and he actually just passes out. He wakes up again. She snaps her fingers and everything just starts to go crazy. There's dubstep, we're posing, we're voguing, and then she starts moving pieces on a chessboard, right? This has been a theme throughout the entire trailer. We've seen it repeatedly. She's moving her pieces forward, and one cool thing is that he is now on the chessboard. He's on the chessboard. He is now victim to all of her movements and schemes, whatever she's got going on. Also, everything is still massively bigger than him. So he's even on the chessboard, he is insignificant. He is tiny. These things are massively towering over him, and he's just getting like, he's literally just caught in the wake of these insane movements that she's doing. He tries to get off the board, and then she's reaching for him, so I guess he's like a chess piece too. She picks him up now, and now we've got this awesome pose of all of her little buddies. Now you're a chess piece, right? She flips you between your fingers, literally playing with you, and says, that's what you get for lying to me. So one interesting thing I noticed is that she's taking you, the character, this guy, off the board. Like, you're not a piece anymore. Like, this is what you get for lying to me. You're off, right? Like, you're something that you're done. You're done, pal, right? She puts you between your fingers, throws you up in the air, and then we get this awesome shot. Why did that look so good? Hang on. We pull back, we get a nice kick of the leg. We see the undersole of her boots. Her heel's glowing. Just lots of glowy stuff, right? And then we get this like eye thing that opens up, and it sort of like creates this little explosion. We back out of that. That's cool. This just looks so sick, dude. This is so cool. She's such a cool character. Wow. And her clones shoot forward, so maybe she attacks with her clones too. And then we're in this weird trippy world. And then she says, "Go ahead, cry. Make me believe it." So this guy is obviously being like, no, please, I'll never do it again, blah, blah, blah. She knows he's bullshitting. She knows that he's not really sorry for it. She knows he's not sad for what he did. He's sad that he got caught. She already knows, knows ahead of time this guy was but when she was going to call him out, when she was going to trap him in this room, she knows he was going to, exactly what he was going to do, right? All of this time, it really has seemed like every time she's talking to someone, she almost knows what's happening before the conversation happens, right? I wouldn't say it's like a script. It's almost like she's just so deep into her intel. She has so much intel, so much information about this world that she just knows that eventually the traveler at the start of this trailer is going to come in and ask for information. She already knows how that's going to play out, right? She already knows exactly how this confrontation with this criminal or whoever, her informant, was going to play out. And it seems like lying to her is the biggest sin you can do, because her biggest thing seems to be information. That's at least what I'm piecing together here. Seems to be information. So the worst thing you can do to her is tell her a not truth, a lie. She backs off, right? And puts you in the box. She puts you in the box. Bro, she's done with you. I don't know if she's like she's not throwing you away. She's putting you in a box. And that's almost worse. Like, she's putting you in timeout. You're done. Or maybe that box is sealed away forever. We don't know. But You're hers. You belong to her. You're in her pocket. There's nothing you could do about it. Damn. What do y'all think about that? What do you guys think about that? Anyway, there's a little more here. Let's check it out.
聞きたければ
Come again sometime. I'll tell you another. Oh, characters in the background. Okay, enticing offer.
来るやつがいるかよ。
That's fun. Yeah, she says, come again sometime, I'll tell you another. And then she's all sweet, right? Like, I guess so. Her story that she traded was something about the time that guy betrayed her, or maybe they needed that piece of information for whatever, but it's just a trailer. We get also introduced to another character. I don't know who this is. You guys probably know who this is. You guys are pretty on top of the character releases. Must be an assistant or something. She's also carrying lots of books, which is very nice to see. And there's a little cat. Look, there's a little cat toy play thing in the background. I didn't even notice that. So that's really cool. So she is this is work for her, I guess, based on the fact that she has an assistant, and this must be her office. I'm curious why such a Sumerian-looking character is in Nodcry. Now I look at this place, this does look like Nodcry. I'm just guessing. I'm very curious about that. I don't know anything about that. What is she doing here? What are her purposes? Is she just a one-woman operation? I'm guessing she is. She's got to be an information broker. There's no way. There's no way she's not.
またおいで
She looks back. This character looks back and is like, yeah, she's kind of crazy, but yeah, you know. Yeah, sounds great, right? She's like, come on back, I'll tell you another, right? She's like, yeah, she's crazy. Anyway, that's awesome. Should we let's watch the whole thing again through all at once, because I haven't done that yet. I paused it a lot, and then we'll wrap up. Let's take a look.
え依頼じゃない
Not here on business. You just want to get to know
もっと知りたいって
me. She's already playing with the chess piece, and she throws it to the cat.
なら物語と交換だよ
Oh man, that's so good. That crawl is so great. I also want to play through all the I want to appreciate the music too.
面白い次
Is that Linny, right? Linny?
次詐欺師ペテン師みんな同じさ
I didn't talk about that camera movement, but we can talk about that in a future video.
始めよう
Looks like she comes at him and like confronts him. Piano's great too. You hear the bass line, like the heartbeat? Bum, 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 bum. Oh! I want to go listen to the lyrics in that song as well, because we're talking about shadows and stuff too, so maybe we'll do that in a future video. We'll check out all the songs when I know these characters better. That is so cool! Dude, this is an amazing demo! Right, we get more Egyptian themes here with the music. She's laughing, giggling, she's enjoying it. Oh my god. In the audio too, you can hear the voices all around your head. Breakdown, like a little dubstep breakdown. Oh.
もっと切実に叫びな